Hey guys, hope you are having a great morning. Today we continue with the second portion of the story we started yesterday, going to show the extent of how far a billion-dollar bet made by Wall Street has gone. This was originally going to be a 2-video segment, but due to the sheer length of research done into it, it will have to be made into 3 full episodes, with the concluding video coming out tomorrow. I will link yesterday's video on a pinned comment so that in the event you missed it, you can find it there. These Pandora Papers have really shown their true colors, and it is so important to discuss these matters. Once again, I want to thank the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists for their amazing work in interviewing and journalistic publishings which inspired me to make this video. The never-resting eye of Wall Street looms every waking hour, never forfeiting a second without scouring for new opportunities to turn your world into hell for the sake of a profit, no matter how small it is. Before we start, let me quickly state that I am not a financial advisor, and that all content discussed in this channel is simply information gathered that I deem important for people to know, so that they can make informed decisions. All efforts are aimed to better understand the nature of the current market in anticipation of the greatest squeeze in financial history. Let's get started. So yesterday, we left off on the part where we were discussing Pretium Residential lies. They made a pretty unremarkable statement when they said their services allow for affordable renting prices for people who choose to rent, as if renting is even a choice anymore when they buy all the supply and jack up all the prices, blocking people's ability to get affordable housing. With that said, let's continue. For many decades, America enjoyed a period where there was a lot of enthusiasm and positive energy at the prospect of home ownership. In fact, the enthusiasm was so great that the United States policy was centered around expanding individual homeownership for as many families as possible. In 2005, homeownership in America had risen to 69% according to data from the Federal Reserve. Simply put, there was a solid system in place that provided financial stability to millions of families, and the consequence of that was growth. During those times, even proposing the idea of buying up thousands of homes would get you kicked out, since doing so would be seen as trampling on the homeownership dream of Americans. However, things changed after 2008, and they changed very quick. Wall Street was not one to shy away from taking opportunity to exploit on weaknesses in the economy and on Washington leadership. America's grip on middle-class housing was weakened, and home prices sank, leading many paid-off politicians to argue that policies to expand homeownership had been wrong, and that many families were encouraged to buy homes that they simply couldn't afford. With a Washington divided, cheapo houses and new technologies surging that would simplify the management of such properties, investment groups started being made, prompting billions of dollars to start being poured over all those foreclosed houses. Those that started buying then became serious new corporate landlords, and they are serious competitors for everyone looking to purchase a home in a good neighborhood. Problem is that there is a rising appetite for more than never goes away, and global investors are shopping for the exact same product that renters are, with the only difference being that they are backed by billions of dollars cash. Progress Residential's plan, which was leaked in the Pandora Papers, shows a clear preference for homes built around the last 15 years and currently valued between $70,000 and $190,000. The characteristics they look for are the ones we have talked about in great depth. They look for good neighborhoods, primarily in suburban locations, with low crime rates and schools and jobs nearby. Essentially family-oriented, because these are the demographics of people that they want to hurt. They want the homes that are generally bought by people looking for entry-level jobs, maybe recent graduates, or people with lower wages but looking for family homes to bring their families over. The problems in the competition start at the table, when people seal the deal with the seller. A major advantage that Wall Street-backed firms have is speed. Within minutes, not hours, but minutes of a property showing up in a listing service database, such as Zillow or another type of similar database, there are algorithms being run by computers that quickly assess whether the property should be flagged for review by an acquisitions team. Sometimes within an hour or so, Progress Residential will already have made an offer. They are buying around 2,000 homes per month, and this number is expected to increase in coming months. Another advantage that these companies have over people, which grants them great leverage, is that their decision-making is based only on numerical probability, which as explained, happens within minutes. People buying homes have a myriad of other considerations that can make the process harder. They have to take into account location, distance from work or school, they take into account how pretty the property is and if it will meet their needs for the moment and perhaps the future. Remember, sometimes couples buy houses with the intention of having children. These are considerations that take time. Progress Residential is cold and calculated, financial-oriented and not burdened by the emotional process. Everything that is numerical is looked over and determined by algorithms and financial teams. But perhaps the biggest advantage that companies like Progress Residential have is the ability to make cash offers. When buyers intend on buying a property, they typically have to borrow money and make a bunch of arrangements that add uncertainty to a timeframe and can delay the process. Investors, backed by Wall Street, have billions of dollars. They have liquid cash which make the process super smooth. Researchers at universities have found that investors typically pay 10% less than individual buyers for similar housing, showing the great disadvantage that people are put in. Having cash gives them serious negotiation advantage, giving them a better prospect for securing the deal. Funny enough, an executive at Pretium Partner actually came out and dismissed the idea that renting and owning property are significantly different. His argument, and please buckle up because you will lose IQ points listening to this. His argument is that renters and homeowners still have to make monthly payments, and that because of this, there isn't really much of a difference. Dana Hamilton, head of Pretium Partners Real Estate, said on their podcast, and I quote, "I laugh because when people try and distinguish owning a home from renting a home, the reality is most people don't own a home, they rent the home from the bank, and from the outside, it really looks the same. Yeah. If this is the head of Pretium Partners, I swear I could become God Emperor of the galaxy." She ignores the fact that when you get a loan from a bank, you are building up equity in the home, something that doesn't happen with renting. Mortgage prices are also fixed for the most part, and you can actually lower them if you fix your credit. That is an advantage that doesn't happen with renting. Home ownership builds generational wealth, and allows you the freedom to do with your property whatever you so desire. These things don't happen with renting either. Her assessment that owning property and renting are not that different because you are paying someone else the money is so absurd that it makes me question if she was reading off a script. There is no way you can say a statement like that with a serious face and believe it. She then further made things worse somehow, believe it or not. In the same podcast interview, she praised Pretium chief Mullen, saying he basically saw a wave of millennials coming to the housing market without the means to buy a house, and that he took action by putting the company in a position to provide the millennials with a living experience that they simply cannot provide for themselves at a cost that they could afford. Listen, there is this problem with certain people where they think millennials are lazy, that they are dumb and that they don't work hard. They also think millennials are young too, often forgetting that many millennials are well in their 30s. Millennials have now faced 2 economic recessions, and are looking to have a third and maybe even witness a fourth. On top of that, jobs pay absolute crap, student loans are the worst scam that have happened in financial history, God forbid you get sick in America and don't have good health insurance. On top of that, we now live during a pandemic. All these things still haven't taken the productivity levels down. I really don't get where her disposition comes from, as if millennials simply are incapable of buying a home and therefore need a babysitter to guide them through it and take care of them. This is a poor excuse that they are using to justify their terrible business practice. They are aggressors here, buying up all the supply to increase the price through sheer demand, and then when people are forced to rent because there are not more options left, they use the good old millennials are bad at life trope that has become so disgustingly ingrained in so many individuals. This is a good point to stop. Let me know what you guys think of everything that was discussed. Let me know in the comments if you have had any similar experiences dealing with people who think your generation was lazy or wrong about everything in life. I have experienced very little of this mindset in real life, but I have seen a lot of people put down other generations on internet forums, so I know this sentiment is not all that rare. I think millennials have many faults, but to say they are this existential baggage of lazy, worthless and talentless individuals is just objectively wrong, and further adds to the divisiveness that has become too common these days. That's all I have for this morning video. Thank you so much for watching. Big shout out to the folk at ICIJ for their incredible research and strong will to expose these criminals. I seriously cannot compliment Spencer Woodman, Margot Gibbs and Peter Horsky for their amazing research that they did to help bring a lot of understanding to all the Pandora documents. Their work will not garner them special awards, but they will have my never-ending gratitude for all they have done for us. Tomorrow we will finally conclude this little 3-episodic mini-series. I hope you guys are liking these. Like I said, I will link yesterday's video on a pinned comment so that in the chance you missed it, you can watch it there. If you want to support this channel, I have a Patreon link in the description as well as some one-time donation links for Cash App and PayPal. Thank you again for being a part of this channel. I will continue striving for better content. Hope you keep having a great day, and I hope to see you later today on the recap video. Until then, keep on buying the dip into the moon.